Hello everyone, Gina here, and today I'm going to be presenting a mixed media art tag featuring ColourArte Products and a few other products that I'll be going over as we get through this process video, or you can call it a mini tutorial. So right now I'm using the Holtz Postage tissue paper and applied it with some Mod Podge, as you've seen. And right now I'm just tearing off the edges just by folding gently and pulling it apart and trimming along the edges here on the top part of the tag. Now I'm going to cover the top part with just the Mod Podge to seal it on, and after drying that, I'm now going to be using the Holtz Stencils. This is the Burlap with some modeling paste with a spatula. And I'm just gently taking off some excess, and now I'm going to use the bubble wrap stencil from Holtz as well. Okay, so after it's dried, we're ready to go with the next step, and I'm just going to punch the hole in the tag to have it ready for when I'm gonna put the ribbon in. And this is now the ColourArte Silk Acrylic Glaze, and the colors of that is Sapphire and Ice, and also the Twinkling H2Os, which are the colors Bluegrass and Ocean Wave. And all you need to do is spray the Twinkling H2Os. I sprayed water in them first so that the color can start to become watercolor for me, because they come in a cake form in those little pots. So now I just got through putting a layer of the silk paint, and now I'm adding the Ocean Wave Twinkling H2Os, and I use the silk glaze, acrylic glaze first, because it's the darkest color. I wanted it to be on some of the areas that I used with the modeling paste for texture. And now I'm adding the Bluegrass, which is one of my favorite colors. And I'm using a smaller brush just to get into the little nooks and crannies that are from the textured areas. And when you're using the Twinkling H2Os, they're very fluid and they are so bright and vivid. The colors are amazing, and they paint with no problem on top of the Mod Podge. As you can see here, it's coming out brilliant. There's no water repelling, which happens sometimes with other watercolor mediums. And just adding some more of the silk acrylic glaze on the bottom, and also using the excess to give an inked look to the tag. And just drawing, I just use a little paper towel to take off some excess so that I could start the next step with using a dry brush with white, titanium white acrylic paint. I use, it doesn't have to be fancy, I just use a regular student grade from the kind you get from Michael's titanium white. And I just do it to tone down a little bit of the areas, and I just like using white, the dry brush with white a lot, and also to tie in the white that I'll be using on this wood veneer piece word. This I got around Christmas time, so I can't really tell you who made it. I know I got it at Michael's. They were clearance down after Christmas, and I believe peace is it's a word you can use anytime. So now I'm going to be using the StazOn inks and 2 stamps. Peacock Feathers are my thing right now. I'm going to be redecorating my front room, so when I saw this stamp I knew I had to get it to create this mixed media tag with, because I'm using peacock colors and I'm really into that right now. So just when I'm holding the stamp and pushing with my hand on it, that's to help make sure most of the details come out, and I'm just doing the single and second generation stamping down below with another stamp. And now I'm going to be using my gelatos in white for this wood veneer piece. It's a bird cage, an empty bird cage, and I decided to use the gelatos on this because I didn't want it to be like white. I wanted it to be like an antique-y white look, and I felt like that would give the right look I was looking for, and it did. I'm just doing another little coat, and you just rub it in and it works just right. A nice creamy covering. And now I'm going to use the Sparkle Mod Podge to cover the bird cage and the word peace. You can use 1 to 2 coats depending on how sparkly you want your embellishments to be. I decided to go with a mixed media tag to be a great project for beginners, just for people that are just wanting to learn, because I do know a lot of people that they're barely learning. So now I'm going to use regular Aleene's Tacky glue to glue down the wood pieces, and as well as my Prima Flourish that I have laying there on the side. I have a lot of Prima in my stash, so I decided to use that. And then I'm using the Tulle netting to be like a little soft wings behind the bird cage. And then I'm going to glue, after I arrange that better, I'm going to be gluing the spray on the top. So you just adjust your project, your embellishments to the look that you want, and then when it's done, you just let it set and dry. Now that it's dry, I already added the ribbon, making it look like it was hanging from the sprays and also on top of my tag. And now I'm going to add little tiny pearl, flat back pearls to add little tiny detailing to my little bird cage. And those little tiny ones are a little tricky, but it can be done. And there it is.